What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome in to another edition of NBA Now from Chat Sports. With you today, breaking down all the news and rumors. I'm Jimmy Crowther, and we're going to get into all of them. I got a few trade rumors stacked up for you guys, but before I tell you what they are, before I tell you what's going on around the NBA, I want you to make a prediction for me in the comment section. I want you to predict who's going to be the next star to be on the move in the NBA. Do you think it's Chris Paul moving on from the Oklahoma City Thunder? I think it's somebody else, maybe a guy like Blake Griffin, and that's where we're going to start today with our NBA rumors. He could be on the move from the Detroit Pistons. Of course, he got traded there from the Los Angeles Clippers out of nowhere not too long ago, and now he may be on the block again. The team may be exploring trades for their star power forward. Apparently, according to the rumor, they've already spoken to 3 different teams about Blake Griffin, about something that could get done. Now, those teams haven't been necessarily released yet, but I'm sure they'll come to light, and when they do, we'll have it for you here on Chat Sports. Now, last year, Blake Griffin had one of the best years of his career. 24.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 5.4 assists, and from 3, he became a pretty good three-point shooter at 36.2%. Of course, his bread and butter is down low and when he, gets into the paint, but he showed that he can extend his range. He became a go-to player for a Pistons team that snuck into the playoffs and then lost him due to injury. Now, what they have next year is not all that exciting. Of course, you just signed Derrick Rose. I'd expect him to be the starter. Maybe you like him in the 6-man role. Luke Kennard, you hope he takes a big step forward next season as a shooter. I like Tony Snell. Andre Drummond is good. And Blake Griffin's your star, but maybe it's time for the Pistons to hit reset and just rebuild. Now, I don't think they will right away because they just picked up Derrick Rose to help them compete, but I think it's time to start rebuilding if you're the Detroit Pistons. Now, I threw together some teams that I think make sense for Blake Griffin. I got 4 teams for you. The Dallas Mavericks, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Boston Celtics, and the Indiana Pacers. Now, I throw the Mavs in there because just last night, Blake Griffin was spotted hanging out with Mark Cuban, so people are talking there. The Portland Trail Blazers, look, they need a power forward. I think he'd fit perfectly next to Jusuf Nurkic. That's a 3rd star alongside CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. The Boston Celtics, you've got Jason Tatum, you've got Jaylen Brown, you've got Gordon Hayward. You have a surplus of these small forwards. You don't have any major power forwards to step into that starting role. Heck, you give the Celtics Kemba Walker, Blake Griffin, and maybe they keep Jason Tatum. That's a solid trio in Boston. And then I love a fit there with the Indiana Pacers. Just picked up Malcolm Brogdon. They have Victor Oladipo, who's their star for now. They have Sabonis and Turner, but in a deal like this, I think they would send one of those guys to Detroit, let Griffin start in there at the power forward position. Do you guys think the Pistons need to move on from Blake Griffin? Do you think they need to trade their all-star power forward? I'm actually going to say yes. I think they should start rebuilding now. They just had a near lottery draft pick. They picked up Sekou Doumbouya. Go get another lottery pick next season and rebuild here in Detroit. Now, from one star that's a high-flying guy, we have another. This one coming from San Antonio. DeMar DeRozan could be on the trading block. Now, the rumor is that the Spurs may be fielding calls for their star shooting guard. And look, last season, his role with the Spurs was very odd. He had a super low usage percentage, lower than it's ever been since his rookie year. And then the question becomes for San Antonio, if they do move DeRozan in a deal, are they going to look to get young pieces back to rebuild, or are they going to try to stay competitive for as long as Greg Popovich is there? Now, if you're the San Antonio Spurs, you're always going to be competitive if Greg Popovich is there. But if you move on from DeRozan, you got to figure out if you're building toward the future or you're trying to win right now, because keeping DeMar DeRozan on board is a win now kind of situation. Now, last season, his numbers took a dip. You see 21, 6, and 6, and you're like, that's still pretty good, isn't it, Jimmy? It's like, yeah. But compared to what he did in Toronto, it's night and day. Now, DeMar DeRozan's never been a three-point shooter, 15.6% from the field, or from the three-point arc. Not good at all. That's not what he is. He's a mid-range guy. He gets to the basket, and he'll throw down on you. Now, the Spurs right now, they have a good lineup. DeJounte Murray coming back from injury. I'm super excited to watch him come back. Could be a comeback player of the year type guy. Derek White really kind of proved himself in the playoffs last season against the Denver Nuggets. And then, of course, you have DeMar in there. Now, DeMar is a shooting guard, but in this lineup, he plays the small forward position. LaMarcus Aldridge, of course, is there. An aging star. How much does he really have left in the tank? And then Jakob Poeltl is your starting center, which is just not great. So the teams that have been linked to a DeMar DeRozan trade, the teams that apparently have been in contact with the Spurs already, the Detroit Pistons, the Orlando Magic, and the Chicago Bulls. Obviously three, fringe playoff teams in the Pistons and the Magic, and a rebuilding team in the Chicago Bulls. I don't love the fit there with the Bulls because you already got Zach LaVine, which you hope he's something like DeMar DeRozan with a better jump shot. I don't love the fit for the Pistons, because Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond, you've already got floor spacing issues. DeMar DeRozan does not space the floor whatsoever. So the one team that makes the most sense for me, and I think would make the most sense for DeMar DeRozan and the Spurs as well, the Orlando Magic. So I threw together a little trade, and I came up with something that, maybe could get done. I like the fit there for DeMar. I think it makes sense for Orlando and San Antonio in this trade. But look, the Pistons, I just don't like it. The Bulls, I really don't like it. And Zach LaVine, Otto Porter's there. They have Chris Dunn, Kobe White. So this is what I got. The Spurs get two young pieces, and Fournier is more of a guy to make the money work. But then you get back Mo Bamba. You hope and wait and see what he can be. Maybe he can be better than Jakob Poeltl, you would hope. And they get 2 second-round picks. One of them is Orlando's. The other one is Los Angeles, as they sent it to the Magic. And now the Magic in this trade scenario would send it to the Spurs. The Magic, on the other hand, they get DeMar DeRozan. And he all of a sudden fits in perfectly with this lineup. And he becomes a star that can play alongside Nikola Vucevic and Aaron Gordon. It's a bona fide scorer that they can put in there and can help them win right away. I like it for the Spurs because you get the young building block and you get picks. The Magic, though, I think are the winners of this trade because you see what they'd have. DJ Augustin, DeMar DeRozan, that's your new backcourt. Now, DJ Augustin doesn't really stand out to you. Maybe you hope Markelle Fultz could be what he's supposed to be. I wouldn't count on it. And then DeMar. Jonathan Isaac, I think he's going to take a big step forward next year. I have him in my most improved player category. Nikola Vucevic, that's your all-star center in the middle. And Aaron Gordon. Good lineup here for the Orlando Magic, but DeMar is still a member of the Spurs. I think they're going to try to push again for the playoffs. I predicted that they're not going to make it. That was just my prediction. But it's not about what I think. I want to know from you guys here on Chat Sports. Will the Spurs make the playoffs? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Look, it's hard to count them out when Greg Popovich is still running the show as head coach. But I don't like their team. So I'm going to type my 2 for no. Now while you got those votes flowing in the comments section, I want you to subscribe here to Chat Sports. Get us to 130,000 subscribers. We're growing and growing each and every day. Been doing live shows here about the NBA all off season long, and we'll keep it coming for you right here on Chat Sports. Make sure you're subscribed, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Now, one more star that could be on the move, it's Chris Paul, but this latest rumor is that executives around the league and the Thunder themselves kind of expect Chris Paul to stay in Oklahoma City to start out the 2019-2020 season. And why is that? Well, in all reality, the trade talks have, quote, parked for the point guard. It's been put in park. He's not going anywhere. They can't find a good deal for him for equal value. But here's my notion on this whole thing, my hypothesis. I think this is just a leverage play by the Thunder. I think they're just telling the league, hey, you guys aren't throwing us anything we like. We're going to hold on to Chris Paul. We actually think we can win some games with him. So don't bother trading us anything. Don't bother giving us any offers. Meanwhile, everybody's going to be like, all right, got to get the trade chips together. What are we going to get for Chris Paul? Well, hopefully not that much, because he took a slide last year. I don't like what Chris Paul has become. He can't stay healthy. You see his numbers and you're like, that's not that bad. It's not good for his contract. And it also isn't good considering he only played half the year 2 years in a row. Hasn't been a good run for Chris Paul. And then you see what the Thunder have right now with him running the show. It's CP3. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I actually really like. Again, this is another guy I could see being a most improved player. Terrence Ferguson, he's fun to watch dunk. Danilo Gallinari, nearly 20 points per game. He's actually a really good power forward there. And Steven Adams in the middle. Look, if the Thunder try to win games with this team, you're going to win a few, but you're going to be stuck in that 9 to 11 seed. You don't want to be there if you're in the Western Conference. You either tank it out or you're at the top. And the Thunder need to just send Chris Paul off and tank it out, if you're asking me. So which team do you think CP3 will finish next year with? Not start, because right now everybody thinks he's starting with the Thunder. Which team will he finish the 2019-2020 season with? Let me know in the comment section. Now from trade rumors, let's get into some more free agent rumors. Yes, free agency is dwindling down here. We're near the end of it. All the big name players are off the board. But one new name on the board is J.R. Smith. Of course, he recently got waived and he cleared waivers and now he's meeting with teams. Recently met with the Milwaukee Bucks about a potential deal. It's been the only team that's truly been linked to J.R. Smith as of late. The Lakers are out of the running for him. And the Bucks, look, they just want to add as much shooting as possible. That's what J.R. Smith does. Maybe it's not always efficient, but when he's making them, he's making a lot of them. Last season, down year, I don't really take too much stock into these numbers because he's playing for the Cavs and he wasn't playing that often because the Cavs were in full-out tank mode. You're not going to play a veteran like J.R. Smith. And so let's say you add J.R. Smith to this lineup that the Bucks already have, who I project to be the number one team in the Eastern Conference. Of course, Bledsoe, Middleton, Giannis, Lopez. That's your core four. You can kind of sub in whoever you want at that power forward position. We'll keep Ersan Ilyasova in there for now. They signed Wesley Matthews, but I think they would love to add another two guard that just kind of changes the pace, and that's what J.R. Smith could do. I think he's a step up from Dante DiVincenzo off the bench at least. So I love the fit for J.R. Smith in Milwaukee. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think off the bench he could be a perfect maybe sixth man, maybe seventh behind George Hill type guy. But I want to know from you guys who will actually end up signing J.R. Smith. Let me know in the comment section. I'd be typing in the Milwaukee Bucks. It's the only team that's really linked to him. It's the only team that makes sense to me that's out there right now. Of course, he's only going to get the vet minimum, so you don't have to worry about cap space or anything. Let me know which team is going to sign the veteran J.R. Smith. Now, one guy that did just get signed, it's Justin Holiday. He officially agreed to a deal with the Indiana Pacers, 1 year, $4.8 million with them. And of course, there's already some Holiday blood in there in Indiana. Aaron Holiday is currently the backup point guard, who they expect to take a huge leap forward. But Justin Holiday right now, that's a quality signing. Look, he was one of the, if not the, best free agents still on the market prior to this signing, unless you're one of those lunatics that think Carmelo Anthony is the best free agent available. Justin Holiday was probably the best one, and you can see why he put up pretty good numbers on the Memphis Grizzlies. He's a consistent player. 10.5 points per game and nearly 35% from beyond the three-point arc. He's also a really good defender. I think that's one of the most valuable things about Justin Holiday is he can guard anywhere from a point guard down to a small forward. He's got the length to do it. Now, the Pacers just signed Malcolm Brogdon. He's going to be their new starting point guard. They have Victor Oladipo, so that's already two guards in there. They've got Aaron Holiday, but Aaron Holiday is more of a point guard. Maybe you play him alongside his brother now in Justin Holiday. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think this Indiana team is going to be really, really good in the Eastern Conference next season. I love Miles Turner. I love Domantas Sabonis. I like that they got T.J. Warren to fill in for Bojan Bogdanovic, who is now a member of the Utah Jazz. But I told you who I think my number one seed in the East is going to be. I think it's Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. But I want to know from you guys, from our loyal watchers here on Chat Sports, let me know down in the comment section who is going to be the best team in the East.